Hello, I'm Billy, and this is the Unlock Your Child's Full Potential podcast, where we discuss how to give our children a head start in life and teach them some basic principles of success that will serve them well in adult life. This podcast is about the lessons that are often not taught in school, and it's up to us as parents to shine the light and coach our kiddos. Things like building their confidence, developing integrity, and a strong work ethic, shaping a worldview. It will also be about cultivating emotional intelligence skills, money mindset, personal growth habits, to name a few. I'm a mom of 3 young girls, and my mission is to raise them to be good humans, happy and fulfilled adults. Join me on my quest to learn more ways to parent with intent and raise thriving kids. I'm here to create a space where you feel supported and inspired to bring these lessons into your home and try them out. Let's dive in. Hi everyone. Today's episode is a short but very potent conversation with Mona Andrei, a single mother of 4 who shares her inspiring story and her transformation from a struggling single mother to an accomplished writer. Mona is a top 100 humor blogger, columnist, the author of SUPERWOMAN, a funny and reflective look at single motherhood, and she's also the host of the Single Moms with Moxie podcast. Mona's kids have already grown into young adults, but in this interview, we reflect back on what it's like to raise a large family on your own. As usual, at the end of the episode, I give you the takeaways from our conversation to help you put some new ideas into practice. Enjoy! Hi, Mona. Welcome to Unlock Your Child's Full Potential podcast. I'm so happy I have the chance to talk to you and learn from you.
Oh, you're so sweet. Thank you for having me on your show. I'm really pleased to be here.
You're a single mom of 4, an author, an award-winning humor blogger, a speaker. As a mom of 3 myself, I'm truly impressed how you managed to do it all. Please share with us your inspiring story and your transformation from a struggling single mother to an accomplished writer.
Well, first of all, my hat off to you. 3 children. I'm looking at you and you're so young. Good
Thank
for you.
you.
I was a single mom now I'm still a single mom, but my kids now are young adults. But yeah, it's been a journey, and I have 2 biggest lessons. One is when my kids were young, I really wish that we had a quote unquote family. And it took me some time to realize that I don't need a husband. We have a family. We are a family. And we had our own traditions. Like on Friday nights, we would have a picnic on the living room, watch a movie, have milk in our wine glasses. And that was our tradition forever. And we still talk about it. My second lesson is that for the longest time, I was in survival mode. I worried about the laundry. I worried about paying the bills. I worried that everything was good, under control in my house. And then I realized that I was forgetting about who I was and what drove me, what was my passion. For me, it's always been writing. And when I got back to that, something clicked and life became better because I was doing something for me. I think I became a better mother because I was happier. And then things picked up from there.
This resonates so much with me. I've been a mom, just a mom for so long. My oldest is 9 now, and I'm finally trying to do something for myself. How old are your kids?
So they are 30, 36, 30. Every time they have a birthday, it messes me up. They're 37, 34, 24, and 23.
So they're really adults now.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
And looking back and seeing how they have developed, what do you think you did right and what could have been done better?
What could have done better? Well, like I said, I think I focused too much on wishing that we had a man in our life. I also think that I probably could have been more, not present, but I was always worried about, is the laundry done? Is the kitchen clean? Or is the vacuuming done? When sometimes it's okay to just let things go and sit and read a book with your kids or something like that, or go for a walk. What I did right, I think that my kids have really good values. I think they have a good work ethic, and they're good people. They're kind people. When you're raising them, and guilt is a big part of being a parent, whether you're a single mom or not, right?
Yeah.
So guilt is a lie, and my kids are not serial killers. You're in it and you're thinking, oh, I could have done this better. Oh, I should have done this today. Kids are so resilient. They really are.
Yeah, true. So when was that moment that you finally woke up and you said, I'm going to do something for myself? And what woke you up, the breakthrough?
So I started blogging, and I think it was the blog that started it all, because it kept me accountable, even though at the beginning it was probably just one person reading it, my mother. But that's what started it off, because I would start off my days with the blog, like writing something for the blog, a post. And then I would feel so good. Then I would wake up the kids and I would get them ready for school or for daycare. I would get me ready for work, get to work. And I felt like I started the day off right.
Yeah. Morning routine.
Yes, exactly. If you want to get anything done, you need a routine. And the best thing is to start in the morning for sure. It just sets the tone for the day.
Did you teach that to the kids? To your kids?
Yes, I did. It's just something simple like make your bed. Isn't it nice at the end of the day to crawl into a bed that's already nicely waiting for you, as opposed to getting into a bed where it's all a big mess? And that's just a tiny little thing, but I think it just kind of sets the tone.
I hear of moms taking care of their large families and even homeschool them. And I just can't imagine how they do it all. I'm struggling with my hands-on approach. It's a perfectionist issue. I guess you couldn't do it like me. You must have had a better way. Any advice on that?
Well, I did not homeschool my kids. My hat off to anybody who does that. Even just with COVID, I speak to my neighbors during lockdown, and I have one neighbor in particular who was apologizing to me because her and her husband, and they have 2 young kids, were always fighting. So imagine always being home with your family all the time, right? So I cannot even imagine. I think routine is a big thing. Setting goals is a big thing. One of the things that I love is whiteboards, and I have one in the kitchen. And so now it's only my son who's at home. He's the last one home. And even though he's a grown-ass man, he will not think about, oh, we should shovel the driveway, oh, it's snowing out, because he's always working. He's a little workaholic. So I put chores on it. And then it's nice to have it checked off. So for your young kids, it could be, one day it's one person's turn to sweep under the table after dinner. They do it, they put it, they get, because there's a sense of accomplishment when you check things off the list.
Yes, I agree. So did you do it when they were little?
I did it when they were little too, but now it's just my son.
And how did you motivate them? Did you give them pocket money, or just the whiteboard was enough for them to know that they
For them, it was just the whiteboard. There were certain years where I didn't have any pocket money, but we would do the list together. So we would sit at the kitchen table on Sundays and we would say, okay, who's doing what this week? We all knew who had, like, what had to be done. And so they participated in it. It's kind of like cooking. If you get your kids involved in cooking, they will eat it because they feel like they made it, right? Like, I don't know, just things like pizza with English muffins we used to have often. So I would put all the things in a bowl, like the green pepper and the onions and the cheese and the tomato sauce, and they would choose what they wanted on theirs and they would eat it. If I just made it, it would be like, eat your supper, have some vegetables.
Yeah, I hear myself saying that all the time. But it's kind of there at school the whole day. Then we have a sports practice or some other kind of activity. And then we're at home at 7:30. And if we start cooking at that time, it's going to be so late.
Yeah. I hear you.
I'm not sure how we do it all. Did you enroll them in activities outside school?
I did. Actually, one thing to your point about getting home late and having to cook, one of the things that saved me was I had a crock pot. Yeah, so I could put everything in, in the morning and then set it to start at a specific time. So let's say, 4:00, and then 3 hours later when we got home, everything was done. It was nice. It was hot.
That's what I do. I love it, but they don't participate that way.
Well, your oldest is 9, and how old are your other two?
7 and 4.
7 and 4. Okay, so one could, I don't know, I guess your 9-year-old could cut carrots and your other one could wash another vegetable.
Yeah, but your point is you have to include them so they know their responsibilities.
Yes, but at the same time, I know it's hard. Like you have a list the length of your arm, and it's so much easier to just do it yourself than to have the patience. So I get it. I get it.
But yes, we do want to teach kids certain skills. The main thing is that I have this vision of the adults I want them to grow into. And it's so hard right now to just let them be. It's so difficult, this kind of behavior right now for me when they're young.
Right.
But after a few years, I'm going to want them to behave that way.
I hear you. I hear you. Actually, a good example is one of my kids was really, really not good in school, didn't care, was lazy. They had no interest in school or homework or whatever. And when they got to, I think it started at the end of high school, and then they went to CEGEP, because here we have high school, CEGEP, and then university. They completely changed on their own. Like work ethic, it just went through the roof. And that was them taking it on themselves.
So have faith in them.
Yes. I mean, as long as you give them a good foundation, good moral values, be honest, as long as they have that, they're going to turn into the people that they're meant to be anyways, right? And everybody has their own, there are children, but they have their own lessons to learn in this lifetime too. So we can't control a lot of things.
Yes, and we cannot just save them from all the pain.
No, we can't. And that's one of the hardest things as a parent, especially when they start going to school and they're exposed to bullies or people that are just not nice. Mean girls in high school was one of the situations that we went through. You can't protect them from everything. You can be there for them and keep the door of communication open, but unfortunately we can't protect them. So
in case of being bullied, you don't go storming at school trying to solve the problem, but rather...
Well, there's certain things you could do. If it depends on how excessive it is. There is one time where I had to say to a teacher, this is happening. And they were fully not aware that one of my daughters was being bullied during recess and lunchtimes, fully not aware. So now I put it on the radar, and then they were able to watch more closely. And bullying too usually goes in phases. Thank goodness for that. They outgrow it. They learn something from it too. Sometimes you're learning just to be more assertive.
Yeah. It can have some lessons to learn. Do you think that having a large family has given them more support, or it has made them more competitive? How do you find the energy in the family?
So that depends on their ages. There were ages where they fought all the time, and that's kids. That was one of my most frustrating things, is listening to them fight. But they grow in and out of phases. Today, they're all like best friends. My son and my daughter, especially my two younger ones, they hang out all the time.
Oh, that's great. That's
what
I love them to do. I wanted to ask you what core values you want to instill. You mentioned something about being honest and anything else.
Honesty is a good one. I remember one time my oldest daughter, she was about, oh my God, she was young. She was about 7 or 8. And she had lied to me. I don't remember what it was. Probably wasn't a big thing, but I got so upset with her. And I remember saying to her that, if there's a lot of people in this world and a lot of people that we don't know and we don't understand, if we can't trust each other in our own house, what do we have? And that really struck a chord with her. So yes, honesty, good work ethics is important. Kindness, I think, is the biggest one. To be kind to other people, not be, nice to the people outside and then come home and be mean to your siblings. I think that kindness is an important one.
Yes, I see my oldest one being kind to all her friends, but she's being bullying her sister.
It's a phase and it's a learning curve, but this is an opportunity for you to actually, I find that demonstrating is the best way. Here's a very good example. I remember one time, I'm a teenager, and this stayed with me. So my mother, I was drying the dishes, and instead of getting mad at me, because I wasn't drying them properly. Instead of getting mad at me, she took out a glass that she had dried that was already in the cupboard and a glass that I had just dried. And it was all spotty and not nice. And she goes, Mona, what glass would you rather drink from?
Mm-hmm.
And that was like, she could have yelled at me saying, you know, you're doing a crappy job at drawing, like do a better job. But instead she demonstrated it to me. And that was like a point. She deserved a sticker for that one.
So I should demonstrate to my older one how it feels like to be bullied like she does.
I mean, and it could be just an example. Would you rather that I get mad at you because you didn't brush your teeth? Or would you rather that, you know, we go together and let's go brush our teeth together? They'll always choose together.
Yeah.
And then you use the example with, so when you speak to your younger sister or brother, I'm not sure, you have two girls.
Three girls. I have three girls.
Three girls. Okay. So then you take an example from that and you say, you know, when your sister's taking your toy and you're getting mad at her, wouldn't it be nice to react this way instead? I find that demonstrating and also natural consequences are always more powerful than frustration and yelling. And
true. And in the moment, it's very hard to respond versus react.
Absolutely. It's a muscle. It's a muscle that we build.
Were you that patient when they were young?
Through phases. I'm going to say no, I was not, especially my two older ones. I was young too. I was 21. We kind of grew up together, but I learned as I went.
Okay. So it's not all lost.
Absolutely not. Kids are so resilient. They really are.
And they will have some childhood trauma, even if we do our best.
Absolutely. And like I said, they have their lessons too, right?
Yeah, that's true. Do you think that work ethic comes from them looking at you, how you work, taking care of your family by yourself?
And definitely kids watch us and they see how we do things, and then that's their normal. But at the same time, I think that everybody's different. For example, I know, you know, somebody that has a terrific work ethic. His brother, raised by the same people, same family, has a terrible work ethic. And he's not even, you know, somebody that we would like hang out with type thing. So I think that they do learn from watching you, but they're also themselves.
You mentioned the family tradition, drinking milk in a wine glass. Do you recall any other family traditions that created a nourishing environment in your home?
Oh my God, yes. So on Saturday mornings, especially with my older girls, because Monday to Friday was rush, take them to the daycare, especially when they were really young, take me to work, rush back to the daycare to pick them up. Saturday mornings for us was they would come in my bed, each with the book, and we would just lie in bed and read for, I don't know, half an hour or whatever. There was no rushing. And that was another kind of source of pride.
I love reading. We have a huge library ourselves. So we have the same tradition. When we get up in the morning, everybody gets their book and we just read. So I love that.
Very nice. You're together, but at the same time, you're doing your own thing.
Yes, exactly. And did your kids continue to read?
Oh yeah, they're all readers. They really are all. I think only one is not such a reader, but the rest are readers. I think that if you enjoy reading, it's almost like it's a gift, because not everybody enjoys reading. Reading teaches you so much. I mean, it takes you away. It's like a vacation. At the same time, there's so much out there, from self-help to learning how to do anything.
Kids prefer to watch videos though. So
yes, that's where we're at in this time. Absolutely. It is videos, just adults too. Yeah,
true. And they're older now, so it's not a problem. But phones for me and screen time is such an issue, because they're starting to show too much interest, and I want to shield them for as long as possible.
Yeah, normal.
Phone.
It is normal. I mean, I see people in restaurants that are, you know, there's 4 people sitting on around the table and they're all on their phones. So yeah,
it's so sad. Yeah,
it is.
Do you think it's important to be friends with friends of your children and their families, just to stay in touch?
I think yes. When I was younger, it was hard because I was so busy. But as my kids became teenagers, I preferred them hanging out at my house with their friends than being outside. So I always had an open door policy in that, because when they're home, I know what they're doing. I know where they are. I know who they're with. When they're out, I don't know what they're doing or who they're with, especially during the teenage years.
And they were okay to be home.
Oh yeah, I made it fun. I laughed with their friends. I was silly too, kind of thing. So yeah, I mean, I would leave them alone. They called me by my first name. I made sure to always have snacks and drinks like juice and whatever in the fridge.
That's awesome. Yeah. Good job. There's a question I love to ask. If you could address moms worldwide and you can give them one parenting advice, what would it be?
Have confidence in yourself. Have confidence. Like I said earlier, guilt is a big thing. If you make a decision, whatever that decision is, and I tell my kids this now, whatever that decision is, know why you did it and don't regret it. Make it for a reason. So a good example is we had Super Bowl Sunday last Sunday. And every year we go to a friend's house. And my son this year decided not to go. He wanted to get ready for the week. And then the next day he was like, oh, I'm sorry I didn't go. I'm sorry, I regret not going. And it's like, you made the decision to stay home. You wanted to get ready for the week. You're ready for the week. Stand by your decision.
Yeah, good advice. Yeah. It doesn't make sense to regret it. It's done anyway.
Exactly.
You have a lot to be proud of, being a single parent and kicking ass, being an accomplished writer, a speaker. Tell us, what is the achievement you're most proud of?
Well, I'm very, very proud of my kids. I really am. And I'm going to say my book, Superwoman, a funny and reflective look at single motherhood. I always knew that I was going to write this book because at the time, this is before internet. As a single mom, I was lonely. Like I felt very alone. If something was going on with my kids, I had nobody to talk to about it. I felt very lonely. Today, there's chat groups and there's all kinds of platforms where single moms can give each other support. But I'm proud of my book because it was my way of sharing what I went through with other single moms to remind them that they're not alone. But it was also a love letter to younger me.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So you didn't have the support of your parents or some friends?
A little bit. Friends, not so much, because I was very driven and I was very, get home, take care of the kids, start over the next day. So, and also too, I didn't have support from their fathers. So I couldn't make plans with friends. And who wants to hang out with, a 20 something or a 30 something year old single mom who can never go out without her kids?
Oh yeah, that's hard. Social life is really hard.
Yeah.
So now it's your time to shine. Kids out of the home.
That's it.
Tell us about your podcast.
So my podcast is called Single Moms with Moxie. Moxie is a word that I really love because it means bravery, courage, and also it's my humor blog is Moxie Dude. So I wanted to keep that, even though it's different topics, I wanted to keep that. So basically I interview single moms to share their experiences. I interview parenting experts. I share my stories. It's all about single parenting.
Nice. Mona, thank you for sharing your wisdom with us. This was an incredible conversation, very potent, tons of useful advice. Please tell our listeners where they can find you and learn more from you.
Sure. Well, first of all, pleasure having me. Loved being on your show. Thank you so much. It was a very interesting conversation. You asked some very good questions. And my hat off to you again for having 3 kids, and you're very young and good for you. So I have a personal blog called moxiedude.com. It's MOXIE-DUDE.com. I'm on Twitter as Moxie Dude. I'm on Instagram as just Mona Andrei. And I'm on Facebook.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
As promised, here are the 6 takeaways from this engaging conversation. 1. You're a better mom when you take the time to do something for yourself. When you follow your passion, you are happier and more present when you are with the kids. 2. When you start your day with a morning routine, it sets the tone for the whole day. Kids would also greatly benefit from a routine, even if it consists of the simplest things. 3. When it comes to household chores, use a whiteboard where kids can check things off. It gives them a sense of accomplishment. Every week, sit around the table and create a list of chores together so that everyone knows their responsibilities. 4. Kids watch us and see how we do things, and this becomes their normal. They learn from us, yet at the same time, they're also being themselves. 5. Teach kids to stand by their decision, to know why they made it and to not regret it. 6. You cannot protect your children from everything. They will have their own lessons to learn in this lifetime. Give them a good foundation, good moral values, and have faith in them. Stop blaming yourself, thinking you could have done things better. Kids are resilient. They will be all right. Thank you so much for listening and letting me be a part of your day. If you enjoyed this episode or the show in general, please share it with a friend and help me reach more moms around the world. I would also appreciate it if you consider leaving me a review. Reviews are literally the lifeblood of a podcaster and help me so much. Don't forget to subscribe so you get notified when a new episode drops. See you next week.